You know I'll interrupt you.
You guys have keywords?
So
Every word.
Just thirsty in general.
Any words with the letter E? A-E-I-O-U. Or
Actually,
what?
space is the key
Rhythm.
word.
Yeah.
If somebody's not talking, they're drinking.
All right, just to be clear to start out, we did not build this community. You guys did. Everybody here is the community.
Except him.
That's true. Yeah.
I
Again, we started as a couple of guys sitting around saying that would be cool if, and it has built to something fairly big and to include this room of people here. Yeah, just reading off slides. Utah is a very budding InfoSec community. There's a lot of tech here. Novell did a lot of work on their Linux thing, whatever that was. SUSE. A lot of work was done here on that.
Something called network.
Netware, yeah. That's way before my time.
Some of us worked in IT before the 2000s.
Yeah, so we're just here to talk about the community and whatever.
Yeah, we're just trying to acknowledge that we didn't start the local community. We're just a part of it, and talk about our journey growing it.
Right. That is us.
I asked Danny if he had if he had slipped in any pictures of penises into the slides, and he's like, I've got these 3. That's fair. Fair point.
So there we go. Buy us drinks and we'll talk to you.
Yeah.
So there's a list of all the groups. Really, Snort user group for some reason didn't make it on there, but we're DC 801. We've got the banners up because we're awesome. OWASP, ISACA, IC Squared, Utah Sec, and Saint. Utah Sec is the umbrella group that tries to let all the other groups communicate to each other to see what we're doing and to actually just build community.
So if you have to pay attention to just one,
He wants us
come
on
with
this
me.
way.
Yeah, he's giving us very subtle signals. Don't stand. This is awkward. Nerds sandwiching onto the meat.
When you stand there, you're gone, so I only see these 2.
If you guys have to pay attention to one local group, keep an eye on the Utah Sec postings because it's a great roll-up of all the other groups' activities. But there's obviously individual specialties with each subgroup.
Justin Cyril, who was here earlier, a lot of good conversation. He's the head of that.
And Dimitri's obviously involved with all that stuff as well. So.
Yeah, I think everyone should go and sign up for emails on InfoSec. If you like anything you heard today, you should sign up to be part of this.
This is totally you.
All right, you're insurance guy.
There's a Google group now.
Wait, there's a Google group?
That's what Dimitri just said.
Yeah, there's a Google group for Utah Sec.
Blink for 1 minute, there's new stuff.
I know, right? Our slides are out of date.
Look at how much you guys are doing for the InfoSec group.
So I'm the, I guess, resident old guy, as it were, being that I'm in my 30s. That makes me super old to a lot of you. But yeah, so initially we'll do a little bit of history of 2600, UT 2600, DC 801. So we started out as 2600 SLC, which was a small group that met in the food court of the old ZCMI downtown. So did anybody ever come out to any of those meetings or anything? Yeah, I know this. So it was run by Kenny from hectic.org, a little like subculture type of website, and I initially moved here from New York, so the meetings I attended were in Manhattan. They were obviously well attended, and when I got to the meetings, there were 7 of us there total. So I was like, okay, we gotta do something about this. There's got to be a way to get more people in. So I talked to him and said, hey, do you mind if I kind of take over running things, set up a website, that kind of stuff? To which he agreed. So we did a lot of word of mouth growth and did it through advertising, which is just throwing together some flyers and putting them in 2600 magazines or Linux Journal, whatever, going out to college campuses and throwing them in the break rooms on tables and stuff like that, just trying to get people who are interested to come out. And it grew to about 20 to 30 people pretty quick every month, but then it was absolute freaking chaos. Like everybody, it was actually like people running around breaking shit, like physically breaking chairs and like stuff. And I'm like, guys, we're trying to have a meeting. You can't break stuff or we're not going to be allowed here. I'm all for breaking shit, but just like not right here. You know, like, it's kind of one of those. Yeah, so I rein that shit in. And what that basically comes down to is I was like, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create some structure. We're going to start having presentations. Every month we'll do a presentation. If you do a presentation, do a write-up of what it is you talked about. We'll put the presentation, the write-up, we'll take photos of all the meetings. We're going to put them online. And after every meeting, the first thing I would do is I would go home and I would type up what happened. So, okay, this happened, these people were there, this is what we talked about. You know, somebody broke some shit, that kind of thing. So, we got involved more with DEF CON. I started the DEF CON road trip, which was like everybody would get together and we'd caravan down to DEF CON together. One of the things I know I've talked about with some of the guys before, one of our highlights was like, you know, Wi-Fi was cool and new way back. We set up a wireless network between all the cars and had an IRC server. We got on IRC and we chatted with each other and we were like, ah, woo! And we were just on IRC the whole way down to DEF CON communicating between the cars. So we had a good time. We had like scrolling LED displays in our windows and we were like, you know, fucking with all the cars around us and like just generally having a good time. And it grew to probably about 50 or 60 people every month at our height. So enter DC 801. So 2600 was getting really political. There was a lot of stuff. Every time you read anything a manual wrote, it was just like how you should be doing this, or you should vote this way, or I don't like this thing, and if you're a hacker, you should do this, which I didn't care for. I think everybody comes from different backgrounds. You make your own choices about what your political, religious, or whatever views are. It's not our place to tell people what they think. And actually, as a group, we tend to be fairly against that. So I was against that. I was increasingly involved in DEF CON, doing different things. And so I just said, you know what? 2600 is just a bunch of groups that come from, you know, the idea of this magazine, and they centralize where all those meetings are so people can go find it. So why not do DEF CON groups? And I was like, we can put all where every group is on the DEF CON website, same kind of format, and then, you know, we can get away from this political bullshit. And so I called up Dark Tangent, and I said, hey, here's kind of the situation. What do you think? And he's like, yeah, you know, I'm on board. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, you know, we should pilot it first, see how things go, or if people are opposed to the idea. We were a large group in Salt Lake. We actually had similar, if not larger numbers than the New York and LA groups had. So, you know, and plus it was our freaking idea. So, so I called Russ, who is out of Colorado Springs, who I consider to be like the head vampire of all goons, like at DEF CON. Like Russ is involved in everything. Like, so I called up Russ and said, hey, you know, I talked to Jeff and said, you know, we'd like to do this thing. Would you guys be interested in trying it out as well? And he said, yeah, sure, yeah, let's do it. So February of 2003 was the first official beta DEF CON groups took off. Really, it was just a rebranding of our 2600 meetings. But, you know, we started adding a little bit more, again, a little more structure, trying to get people to speak at DEF CON or help them to be able to speak at DEF CON, work on projects together, do things like that. So, so that happened. So, I mean, we did that. We had people, multiple individuals a year were speaking at DEF CON. From Salt Lake, we had, you know, people getting published in magazines, writing books, doing all kinds of stuff, and we were all working together on these things.
You wrote a book, Ripper.
I wrote a book. Yeah, so I wrote a couple of books, but I also brought in other guys from this area to work with me on those. Like, it was a collaboration, not just, well, I guess, you know, well, the first one was with a bunch of people from Black Hat and DEF CON, but I brought in other people from the area and said, like, you know, come on, let's do this. Let's write a book together. So we did, and it was awesome. We also, months DC 801, one of the first DEF CON groups, the first DEF CON group, was no more. It was dead. Like, literally, you would show up to a meeting, and like, if I came with people, like they came with me, that's who was there. We'd show up and we'd be like, huh, guess it doesn't work. Because you have to have some kind of structure. Somebody has to say, do a presentation, hey, come out and do this. We're gonna work on this project. why don't we do this together? There's got to be people, a core group who are willing to work together to get things done. And unfortunately, I was like one guy trying to get a bunch of people to try to do stuff, and I did it for years. And then I was just like
the mic.
Yeah, boom, and I'm out. But it mostly came from the fact that it's like I was a kid when I got here. It's like I came to Utah. I was 20 years old, so I was trying to do all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I was starting to feel like I was the crusty old guy getting into my mid to late 20s, oddly enough. So I was like, I need to hand the mic off to someone else, and nobody wanted to take the mic. And so, like I said, doing black hat and stuff like that started to take priority. The career starts to take priority. Family takes priority. And it's like, all right, guys, who's going to help take some of this over? Next slide. DC 801 is dead. Long live DC 801. So, go ahead.
So, current incarnation, I will move into frame. Startup, and I was thinking about it for a long time that I wanted to start it back up again. And I think at DEF CON 18, we were at the Ninja Party, and I said, Grifter, let me do DC 801. He said, do it. I bought the domains that night. And started up, put some forums online, got a couple people talking. There wasn't a whole lot of activity. I held one meeting up in Ogden where I tried to demo the brand new PS3 jailbreak, and I begged all my friends to come. They all came. PS3 wouldn't hook up to their audio and visual system, and we sat around and just bullshitted for an hour. Then I got a job in San Diego, moved out there for a year, and it died again.
It did. It's the zombie group.
Yeah.
So I had an idea for a user group that was actually called Silbit, and tried to spin that up for about 2 years, piggybacking off some of the local colleges. It never went anywhere. People didn't understand what we were trying to do and what was getting done. I went to DEF CON 19, sat on some of the groups talks. I was like, Salt Lake needs this. Had no idea that anything a Grifter had done, had never met Grifter. Hadn't met Danny, actually just found him through his domain name, emailed him, said, hey, you're not doing anything with this, you live in a different state, what's going on here? The last one never got back to me. And so I just spun it up. So right after DEF CON 19, I contacted DC Groups, and I said, hey, I'm taking this over, nothing's happening, and we started really, really small at Broadview, just doing little events. And through that, Danny and I got back in contact, got in contact, I should say, and had the first official meeting at February of, was it 11 or 12?
11? Yeah.
Yeah, February 11. And then from there, it was really, the first meeting was Gracie's, it was you and I, one guy from Broadview.
I had literally moved back to Utah the week before, and I found this subreddit that he had made for DC 801. And I said, oh, shit, this is going down. Let's do it. And again, like 5 of us showed up to Gracie's meeting.
Yeah, and really the only thing we accomplished was taking out the nachos.
Yeah.
So, and there was probably a lot of meetings like that right off the bat, where it was just a couple of us getting together. So it just, I guess it took a lot of persistence before it was more than 3 or 4 of us staring at each other. So, today, 169 subscribers on RDC1, which is pretty solid. I remember when it was 3, I'm like, all right, I'm posting to myself. I'm the only one who's going to look at this.
I think it's actually up to 175 now.
Crazy. Yeah.
Really?
Since we wrote the slide deck, that's off. So it is growing. Obviously, you guys are on our IRC channel. That's pretty active. It's not all just sheep rape jokes. There's a lot of good conversation that happens in them. There is a lot of sheep jokes. There's a lot of great conversation that's by far the most active medium. And then we have 19 paid members of our Salt Lake space as well.
We're going to go into, kind of, in a couple slides.
And so here's kind of what we've been up to and what we do in the community. So Capture the Flag, we've run 5 of these events so far. That was really the big event that we did at Bow or Broadview, which is a college I used to work for. And we're hoping to get those started back up soon. Who here has attended one of our CTFs?
I see a lot of people here. Yes.
Cool. Who here who's attended one wants to do another one? have fun.
Philip, these guys are like, no. I'm not getting into that shit.
So yeah, I mean the first CTF, I think we had about as many people running the event as participating, and some were doing both, and so it was pretty lonely. And they keep getting bigger and bigger. We capped it at 20 participants the last time because of the attack defense infrastructure, and we'll talk about that another time. But we've got another one on the map, and that's one of our big community events that we like doing. Last CTF that we held was actually in this room before this room looked quite like this. So I think it was about 30 degrees colder when we did that. I think Nemus was dying that day, if I remember correctly.
I had a really bad cold.
And you turned down anyway.
Yep, and we sold that one out, so that was a success. Hardware hacking nights. Nemus, you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, we basically, it's just, get an Arduino, get a Raspberry Pi, and try and figure something out.
Yep. Lock picking, we have a ton of different locks that we just leave at the space and a couple lockpick kits, so that's there all the time. And then we occasionally do dedicated nights that Grifter sometimes promises to show up at, sometimes doesn't.
We got kids, man. More than one type.
Exploit development. Who's been hitting up exploit development? You want to talk about that?
No.
No? Dr. Miracorn does not want to be put on the spot?
No, that's fine. We just did the...
Tell them.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for our exploit night, we just worked on the ProStar Nebula CTF challenge that our last speaker was talking about here. And we only really made it through the really basic buffer overflow on the first one and the second one too. We've only done 2 nights in that so far.
Okay, cool, thanks. Movie nights, we try to do a few social things that are just fun, not necessarily related to the nerd stuff that we all eat, sleep, and read. We went and saw Ted at Ruby's, which is an incredibly artful movie.
That was not in Salt Lake. That is the resident movie/drink beer venue, and like the only one around.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink beer.
You don't.
Like, I don't drink, so I just yell.
You can eat there too.
You
Yeah,
can eat
just
food.
stuff.
They do have legitimate food.
Yeah, the drinking isn't actually forced upon anybody.
It's not required.
No, no.
But they are one of the few people in Utah that sells my favorite beer.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've done a few movies at the Hackerspace, just casual hangout, use the projector. So.
I think now the hacker space sites. No. So.
All right, so the Hackerspace, decaf. So that guy came to us and actually said, "Hey, you guys should open up a hackerspace in Salt Lake, and I'm going to tell you how to do it and help you out with it." And he did, and we did. And
John, drop the mic.
we're about 1,000 square feet now, and I was looking to get more members, and expansion sounds like it's on the horizon. DC 801 membership is not predicated on membership to the hackerspace. Those are basically not necessarily tied together. We have a lot of public events at the hackerspace that are open to anybody, but if you want keys to the space and use it anytime, obviously you have to become a member.
The space requires money.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
Right.
not our policy, but the people who own the building.
DC 801. DC 801 runs the space, so they're not necessarily the same thing. DC 801's free. Everybody can come to the presentation nights. Everybody can come and hang out with us and BS and do whatever. But yeah, like Soviet was saying, if you want access to it in the middle of the day or when you're by yourself or whatever, then
4 o'clock in the morning.
right, 4 in the morning, you want to go hacks, then
Or you just want
get
to
some keys.
support the space.
Or you want to support the space, yeah. Even if I'm not going to make it down there a lot, which
Yeah.
I don't make it down there a ton, I'll just make it down for certain events and things. Or I'll drop by in the middle of the day if I happen to be working in Salt Lake. I don't make it down there a ton, but I just still pay for a root membership because the lights have to stay on. So.
I know people that are members who have literally never been there.
They're just solid community members.
They just want to support what we're doing, which is awesome.
And yeah. The trade-off to that is primary event is classes and other events like that we have that we try and give back knowledge as much as we can. Constantly adding cool toys, such as the 3D printer. Where's Dennis today?
He's got finals.
Oh wait. All right, what else we got?
Yeah, rack full of gear. I think these are coming to the pictures at some point.
Okay, so every month we try and do at least one free presentation open to the public, just so people can come in, see the space, and talk to us and talk about things. We've covered a variety of stuff, and it's interesting because we'll pull different people in. We've had a brewer come in and talk about beer brewing. Need's done his Wi-Fi hacking. The bug bounty talk was given. We've done lock picking and switching talks. And if you guys have suggestions or things that you're interested in, hit any of us up. Post it. Reddit's probably the best. IRC's good. And we'll take that feedback and we'll put something up. If you want to give a presentation, that works too.
Please. And we don't care what you give a presentation on.
No.
This was a conversation we literally had a couple days ago. Some guy said, well, I don't think you guys would be interested in my motorcycle. And we said, yes, we would.
Sure, why not?
Bring your motorcycle
Yeah.
in, show us what you're doing with it. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, people that aren't interested won't show up.
Yeah, exactly.
No big deal. So.
Yeah, and I'm all there. Hands-on classes.
Go for it.
So this is another thing that we're doing. We're actually developing classes to provide to people, to give them hands-on experience to the point where they can say, yes, I know this subject on their resume. Really good builder for intro people into the industry. What we've done so far is I did Snort, Nemus did the IP tables talk and the OpenVPN talk. That we actually distribute VMs and say from here, this is what you do, set it up, and you will have it running by the end of the 3 or 4 hours that we cover it. Fantastic. Those ones are free to our members. So anyone who's a member of the spaces get those for free. Non-members pay an entry fee, generally like $20 to get in.
The money goes to the space.
All the money does go to the space and help it keep it flow. Pictures.
Yeah, that's a bookshelf.
Where's your book?
That's not in there. It's fucking on BitTorrent.
Hey man, I know it goes to your Sizzler dinner. We want to support.
I honestly people thought I would like freak out when we got on there. I was like, dude, it says it's been downloaded like 600 times. I'm like, like I get like 75 cents like the copy that's sold. Like the publisher gets all the rest. So every like 6 months I get a check and I go to Sizzler. I mean, I literally do because I think it's funny. The only time I go to Sizzler is if I get a royalty check. I'm like, we going to Sizzler.
Yeah, just more pictures of our space.
Did you just rearrange the chairs and keep taking pictures?
You keep seeing the same people but they're in different costumes. Look how crowded this space is. So yeah.
That's our current network rack that we're running. Nemus, we'll touch on this later, but Nemus is running the hostile network from there. Fun stuff. That's my bread and butter. I love that shit. Yeah. So, does it not show the?
No, this is
Okay.
just one of many.
All right. Yeah.
So this is you typing faster than mine.
Yeah.
Look at that model.
Yeah. Right.
We hack
Lives.
this
I mean, them.
fast.
Where are my doors?
So, yeah, other projects, like I said, Nemus is the biggest one that so far that we have going is the hostile network. He has set up a script to roll back VMs at, what is it, 4 a.m.? 4 a.m. nightly. So if you crash a box, it will roll back from snapshot at 4 a.m.
So it crashes at 4:30?
Yes. And then it's
How
out.
dare you, sir? Central. 4:30 Central.
Yeah, well, if someone's being a jerk, just PM me and I'll ban them.
See, yeah, there you go.
He just banned me.
So, yeah, it's pretty much an open ground for anyone to try anything against any operating system and or software. We're still developing it. We're putting open VPN access into there for members. There had been talk about selling access to non-members to support the space.
$40 a month.
See what you did there.
In the future, again, Nemus wants to simulate an entire corporate network that is part of a 24/7 CTF that we compete in all the time. And there's hidden Easter eggs. Again, flags that tie in, never ending. So there's always teams vying for control of the leaderboard. Again, he's not here.
Son of a bitch.
That. Somebody see if he's on IRC.
He is. He is.
Yeah, about the chair comment.
Just write sheep in the yard.
Is he watching us now?
I hope so.
Are you watching me now?
So this is his project. It stemmed from the Utah Saint Conference. Just basically a Jeopardy-style hacker challenge, very similar to the DEF CON CTF quals. It's, again, never-ending. Once somebody clears out a board, then they're responsible for the intermediate board, and they start submitting challenges. So it's just a never-ending cycle. That is a screenshot of how it resides currently. It's not working. Yeah. I'm going to turn over someone else now. I've talked long enough.
All right.
Okay, I can do that. So, Hacker Library, we got a bookshelf. Who bought that? You bought it, didn't you?
No,
me.
me.
It's like $35 or something.
Yeah.
It's currently bowing under the weight.
Yeah, don't try to move the bookshelf.
Yeah, don't move the bookshelf. It's mounted to the wall now because we were scared of it. But a lot of the books that are on there are not the newest ones. I mean, there's a lot of them I just brought from my house.
You're not really selling this.
But no, it's good. There's a ton of stuff in there that you can go in and just
There's
like
a lot of
grab a
good
book,
stuff.
like sign it out or whatever, and then we're going to continue to add to it. I have some publishing contacts in talks with them to get some freshies.
If anybody has old InfoSec books that they'd like
or
to
new
donate.
ones, or whatever. Like I realized that I have some books at my house right now that I just keep looking at the PDFs of them because they're searchable and and I'm not really looking at the physical meat space copies. So I'll probably bring those down too. But yeah, any members of the space can just check them out and use them at the library. So
Have you guys consider doing like a digital library of like PDFs and ebooks and movies and stuff like that, and then like members are able to like sync up with like Calibre or some like reader app where you can like check in and out of the library?
we haven't currently, and I think probably the
I
only
did just
reason.
now while you were saying
Yeah.
that.
No, I mean, it's a good idea. The thing about that is just making sure that people are adding things that we need to make sure that that is legal. Like, we don't want to know what things to be. Yes, we do. We're not this guy.
Here, can this guy see what
No, but I mean we can figure something out.
Alex could have 1,000 licenses.
And then we started collecting hacker memorabilia and things. So just like different DEF CON badges, signed free Kevin stickers, challenge coins and stuff like that from cons and whatever. And we're gonna put a display case together and just continue to add to it. Like it's basically nerd stuff and old hacker culture type of things. And then the Lockpick Village, Sobit mentioned briefly, which was, we got a bunch of locks there, some pick sets if people want to come in and mess with stuff. I have a pretty ridiculous lock collection.
It's insane.
But I only bring it out for lockpick nights. Like it stays at my house. It's costing me a lot of money to put
Would
together.
you say
so.
keep it under lock?
And I mean, and that's no, but when you're messing around with it, you break them, and so it's like if I want to be able to know that somebody's not just like it's like great, dude, that's a freaking $75 lock you just broke. But yeah, so that's some stuff. There's
Some of our fun
couple
stuff.
Our badges and things.
Not full collection.
No, that's not all the stuff. That's just some stuff on a table. That one's signed by Adam Savage up there from Mythbusters when he was out at DEF CON. And then obviously Kevin. That was like right when Kevin got like the first DEF CON that he came to. It was DEF CON 11. I had some free Kevin stickers, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get Kevin Manning to sign my stickers. And then I had a book that I wanted to sign. And he was like, I was like, hey, will you sign this book? And he was like, which one? Because there's one that was written with like John Markoff that he like hates. He was like, oh, okay, I'll sign that one. I was like, cool. And then he signed the stickers. So, yeah, sure. Another thing, actually, I'll say, another thing that we've been throwing around the idea of was actually, or Alan's son it was his idea, was that he's like, dude, we should start using some of the contacts, being that we've been in the InfoSec community for so many years, staff member at DEF CON and Black Hat and stuff. We do DEF CON movie nights or Black Hat movie nights where we show a Black Hat talk or a DEF CON talk, and then we just BS about it. But the thing is that a lot of these guys have become friends over the last decade plus. So what we want to start doing is having like a DEF CON movie night where we show a DEF CON talk, and then we'll get whoever it is who gave the talk to call in over Skype and answer questions for 20 minutes or something. So we're gonna start setting stuff like that up so we can actually talk to, Moxie Marlin Spike or, something like that after we...
Dan Kaminsky!
Yeah. Whoever it is, Like I said, there's a lot of people that we get lots to talk about Collie Linux or something like that, but I mean, there's a lot of people who have, the three of us are all Black Hat staff, and so that's another thing that we bring to the table with DC 801 is that I'm in charge of actually all of the volunteer staff at Black Hat. So if you would like to come out and come to Black Hat or something like that, come out, get to know us so that we know you're not a tool, and we can work with you.
What if we're a tool anyways?
Fair point. A certain kind of tool, I guess. Our kind of tool. Then come out, get to know us, and if we know that we can work with you in a high-stress situation for 11 days where we're trying to keep up the second most hostile network I've ever seen, then, you can come out and join us at Black Hat and, run around like a crazy person and go see the talks and do whatever. And the same thing goes for DEF CON. We're goons as well, so if we've got room in our departments or if we can do whatever, find out if you're not a toolbox, and we'll do that. And so, yeah.
Okay. So, where do we want to go? Again, I've talked about this with a couple of people. We are throwing a party at DEF CON this year. I rented out a 1,600 square foot suite at the Rio. I'm trying to get that guy to play, but he hasn't 100% committed yet.
It's a probably. Probably most likely.
Probably.
Like if I'm not dead by that point, probably.
Alright. So other than that, we are trying to make it incredibly Utah centric because it is a DC 801 party. All four of those DJs up there are living here in Utah, and they've all said they're going to play.
I'll be dancing.
Right? So DJ Robo Rob, who is actually coming out here tonight to spin, give us a little preview of the party. His friend Super Tech Camp, who, if you've been around for a while, he's the resident DJ of the Chill Out Lounge, friend of mine up there in Ogden, Ogden Pride.
He also does the Nerd Show.
The Nerd Show on Weaver State.
Weaver State's 88 one already for the last freaking 10 years.
And Tatcha, the member that I talked about, who has never been to the space, but still keeps on giving us money. Great guy. And yeah, so that's going to be fun. I am aiming to have that as an open bar for 801 members and a couple of those guys back there.
But those that commit to performing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, perfect middle for the radio.
What type of performance?
Why do you have a problem with it? You've always been this way.
I can hold my breath for a really long time underwater.
So I'm looking into bringing in nothing but Utah beer, Utah liquor where applicable, Five Guys, vodka up in Ogden, underground, things like that. Good stuff.
High West.
High West is out here?
Yes, that's our whiskey.
All right. I'm not a whiskey guy. High West.
I just want to clarify that you're going to import low alcohol beer into Nevada for this?
Maybe.
Let's try it.
If it's free, why are you complaining?
Just wanted to double check.
Is anybody a home brewer?
Just more.
There are a couple of people we have contacts in. So, if you're a home brewer, we would love to have your beer on tap
We also have contacts with commercial brewers.
with commercial brewers.
Also the
Yes. And then again, a new thing for DEF CON this year is they're splitting up the party rooms. And so each little individual group gets to throw their own party, but all the alcohol is served in the hallway. So you get to buy a drink and then like basically pub crawl through all these different parties. We have submitted CFP, call for parties, for that, and luckily I know the guy who's kind of in charge of that. So I'm hoping we got it in. I'm hoping we get accepted to that. But we'll do that Friday night to promote the party on Saturday night.
Nice.
The party for the party, really.
Exactly.
Yo, dog, I heard you like parties.
So I put a party in front of your party.
Yeah.
So you can party while you're
I
partying.
think he's available now. We can book him.
We could book him. But yeah, so that's what we're doing at DEF CON this year.
And possibly, there might be a new contest this year. We're
Oh,
gonna work out.
that's right.
We're gonna work out the details. So basically, like I said a couple of years ago, I dropped the mic. Now there's some guys who picked it up. I'm willing to throw the ideas and make the contacts and do whatever, but I don't want to run shit. so we might have DC801 maybe doing something. There might be a new contest. We're still working out the details at DEF CON this year. That would be similar to the King of the Nerds show. If any of you guys watch that. But it will take place over the course of DEF CON with multiple challenges and stuff like that. And
Give me a rundown of King of the Nerds.
the King of the Nerds thing was like basically if they got a bunch of like a pro gamer, a guy who's supposed to be like a super hacker who I've never heard of. And then like
His name Greg Evans.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
and then they
Number
had-
one. Number one, baby.
they had like, I don't know, engineers from NASA and things like that, and they all competed against each other in different challenges. Eventually, two people would be pitted against each other in some kind of trivia or something like that. And
Not
they'd
like
get
who can
voted
vote
off the
over,
island
but-
kind of nonsense. And then once they were down to a certain amount, they had another challenge, and then it was like, here's the King of the Nerds. I think they got like,
It was like answering obscure Star Wars.
super
questions.
obscure nerd stuff. So this would be obscure hacker trivia, cultural stuff or whatever. But then the challenges would be like hardware hacking, lock picking, exploit development, stuff like that. So like I said, we haven't fleshed out what it is that we want to do, but there's a lot of ideas flying around the DEF CON planning list right now. So.
We're not sure what it is, but it's going to be very cool.
Oh my gosh, it's
We
gonna be
can't
so
tell you
great.
about it, but it's going to be awesome. Just trust us.
Just trust
I
us.
this first I heard it, so.
You weren't there.
No, you weren't. Other than that, we're looking again to move into a bigger space if need be. And 1,000 square feet is not 5,000 square feet.
Or I'm just going to try and get small. One of the two.
Yeah,
We're all right.
Might scale that way too.
Yeah, so future classes that we want to give, again, the whole paid for structure for non-members, intros, TCP, wireless hacking hands-on, I'll let you read the rest. We want to do more nights at Brevies because it's just fun to hang back and chill with us and not do something super hands-on technical.
We're cool. Why won't you hang out with us?
Seriously.
There was talk about renting out the Salt Lake City Public Library and their gigantic big screen and theater and throw hackers or war games up there. And we could all, as I think Neil said, collectively laugh inside or cheer. Either or.
It's just totally Mystery Science Theater the hell out of it.
Yeah.
So together.
So, if you guys have any feedback on stuff, on content that you'd like to see, please be really vocal on IRC, Reddit, or just tell us, because we're really responsive to what people want, especially if you're not at space on a regular basis. We want to include everybody. So whatever your opinion, no matter how stupid it is, I promise I won't tell you. Just kidding about that, obviously, but no, no, I really was. But whatever you're interested in, what you want to learn more about, that's been the best feedback that we've gotten from anybody. Like, we had a couple members just talk about, hey, I want to know more about exploit dev, or I want to know more about switching or whatever. And we created that content around those requests. As much as it's fun to just, talk about stuff we already know about, it's really not productive. It's much more interesting to get people in a room and collaborate on something that maybe somebody's subject matter expert and everybody else is kind of just getting into. So please give us lots of feedback, whatever you want to hear about, talk about, we'll facilitate.
If you guys are, again, like if you're interested in doing something where even if it's on your own, where you're trying to get, like you want to speak at Black Hat or DEF CON, or you want to get published or do whatever, talk to us about that too, and we'll, I do CFP reviews for both, and then not just call for parties, call for papers. So we can tell you the things that we're looking for, the things that that the review boards are looking for to help you try to, advance your careers. Like that's what we're about, is just like helping each other out and making people go, Utah, those guys are everywhere, so.
This is an idea that was kicked around for a while.
Step up.
We actually want to put an event together for this summer. It'll probably be mid to late summer. Who is on the transistor mailing list in here? Some? Couple? Okay, cool. So a lot of people are not. We want to do a hacker camp. We want to do basically primitive camping, off-grid type experience with technology challenges. What we want to do immediately in the next 2 weeks is put together a community to help plan this event. And basically it'd be a 2 or 3 day deal. And we're looking at incorporating a bunch of different sort of off-grid activities. If we can find a location that will facilitate some sort of target shooting, and it being Utah, that's half the state, 3/4 maybe, we're going to try and incorporate that as well. But we want to put together just a series of fun activity/challenges and just put a whole weekend around, dorking out outside. So especially when it's nice out, got a great outdoor scene here, just kind of combine our indoor activity with sunlight. I know it's a crazy concept. But, so please contact any of us, really me or Danny primarily, if you guys have any interest in helping plan that. Really, it's just a matter of voicing your opinion on what activities sound fun, scheduling and locations. So, is that interesting to anybody?
Yeah.
Cool.
Get out of your mother's basement.
Got a good place for it. I need to go back down there and check to see if it's still open. But there's a great cave. It's actually in the northern part of San Rafael Swell. Just maybe 40 minutes, 30 minutes south of Price, between the two freeways that kind of split off.
Okay.
I-80. So right in the dead center. And what it is we used to call it Military Cave. Apparently there was a bowl. There's no roads into this bowl, basically surrounded by cliff edges. And then in the middle of this, apparently there were air flight things with helicopters in the middle of this bowl, and they drilled this big cave in the middle of the wall. And it goes back, I don't know, a good probably 500 yards.
Cool.
And then apparently after they were done using it and storing stuff in it, the word of the street is they tested penetration with bombs, dropping bombs on it.
The other kind of fun testing.
Big holes, one of which would actually fall down. It was like an 85-foot rappel back down into it.
Very cool.
Yeah. As long as it's still open, we just gotta make sure that they haven't chained the thing off, so.
We can get by that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Let us know, please. Did you already go?
So I don't know if you want to grab this.
Go for it.
Yes, you. All right. So, basically, closing statements. Again, stress what we said earlier. It's not just us. It is you guys. Community is many people working towards a common goal. So far, it literally has been a core group of us driving DC 801. Several of them up here, several of them in the crowd.
Or on IRC.
IRC. He's not here. Yeah, right. But really what we're aiming for is more participation. We want to see everything that anyone has to offer. We don't care how advanced it is, how simple it is. We want community to happen. We want more, blah, 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 blah. More people participating, done, for sure. I never would have ever thought that I had, in my career, would be able to submit for a call for papers for Black Hat until we were in this group and I hooked up with Nemus. We did that. Yeah, right? So, regardless if it gets accepted or not, I don't care. I did that now. And again, nothing pleases us more than to see this community grow and to see this room full of people. That's the ultimate win for me. And keep going because we love you. Yeah. All of you.
All right, we got reeled out. If you guys are interested in helping out, we do a lot of volunteers and stuff for Black Hat. Hit me up, grifter@blackhat.com or grifter@defcon.org, and let me know. And then come out and see us so we know you're not so that we know you are our kind of douche.
My favorite story is, Sobit's never heard this, but when he tried to take over, Grifter literally said, well, I don't know if I would give him the domain name. We need to keep it in the group. Until he came out to Black Hat with us, and we're like, yep, that dude's cool.
He's alright.
He can hang.
have whatever he wants,
Yeah,
especially me.
in more than one way.
Alright, cool.
So, yay,
I'm
that
really
wraps up
disappointed when
B-Sides.
you grab your photo.
Thank you again.
You'll still
Send us
let me drive
feedback.
a tiny bus.
We're gonna do this again.
It was all too
More better?
Nothing recognizable.
Hang around. We're having an after party from Indage.
Yeah. 204. Robo too.
Robo Rob. Yeah,
All right.
preview of the DEF CON party.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This is awesome.
And we'll see you next year and at the next USEC meeting.
I do that.
And have a